What's up, crypto fans? Did you know there was an XRP ETF deadline coming up on Wednesday? Well, if you didn't, you know now, and I'm going to give you the details on it. HBAR fans, how comfortable do you feel about 15-cent floor action? We'll talk price action at the end. And we got a big player in the market that's creating their own blockchain. So screw the rails that have already been built. We got competition in the space. We're talking about payments, tokenization, real-world asset action, moving money. Competition, baby.
I say lots of naughty things, so here's your warning.
Come on and admit it. You probably sing to the jingle by now in the beginning of the screen, and we got a mini pumperoni happening. Lowercase p, XRP up 3%, ETH up 2.5%. Yeah, we're going to talk about it, but before we do that, your comments come first, because you, the viewer, matter most. Ick Banjo's World says, Klaus, thanks for the wake-up call. I always considered XLM my number 2 choice. This is scary. Yeah, I'll have a deep dive style XLM video at the end. And remember, every company out there uses money to grow. The question is, are they using that money effectively? Captured Moment says, I was about to jump on bagging XLM until you uncovered XLM from Kenya, Africa. Well, hello from far away. And like I said, I bring you the news, good, bad, happy, or sad. Just in this case, unfortunately, they're spending lots and lots of money with piss poor results. Noel Blanc says, Klaus, I can count on the fingers of one hand the analysts that trust my XRP, and you're the first of them. Well, thank you. I'm a news person who brings you news, macro stuff. We do charting. We talk about a little bit of Federal Reserve and money flow. We talk about geopolitical events. I try to get everything so that you can make the best decision that fits your situation. Bitcoin sitting at 107,629, ETH 2504. The alts are in the green. We're starting to see some things move. XRP's got a nice, healthy little move here on the one-day chart. Check it out. It's happening right now. Like literally as I speak, it's happening. In fact, if we go to the 15-minute look, it's literally as I'm talking, the action is happening. That's why it helps if you hit that notification button so you get the news right as it happens. But let's get to that let's get to the blockchain news first. Robinhood plans to launch its own blockchain, offering stock tokens. Okay, so we got competitors. So a lot of people out there have been talking about, but bro, when these stables get launched, they're going to have to pick what chains to run their juicy action on. Robinhood is like, yo, your chains, we're going to make our own. And I think a lot of players are going to be doing the same. Online brokerage Robinhood is doubling down on its crypto ambitions on Monday. The company announced it was letting customers in the European Union trade U.S. stocks and ETFs on a blockchain, dubbed Robinhood Stock Tokens. Ooh. The assets, basically shares of popular companies in a crypto wrapper, will have zero commission fees. Here's the only problem. With tokenization of real-world assets, you don't get voting rights. All right, you still get to trade it as if like you're mimicking the price, but you don't get the voting rights and you don't get the protection. That's the only big problem. Customers will have access to stock tokens representing more than 200 different companies and be able to trade them 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. Blockchain-based stocks will initially be issued on Arbitrum, a so-called layer 2 blockchain built on Ethereum. Then Robinhood plans to eventually move the tokenized stocks over to its own layer 2 chain. Oh. So now screw that. Let's build our own. And I'm telling you, I bet you a lot of exchanges are going to do their own. Coinbase has their own. They have Base. And we've seen there's a lot of stable coins run on Base. There's a lot of movement on Base. Robinhood didn't specify when it would launch its new blockchain, but it said the new plans to support trading 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Our latest offerings lay groundwork for the crypto to become the backbone of the global financial system. So how do you feel about that? Exchanges out there making their own chains, banks out there launching their own stablecoins. What's to stop banks from launching their own chains? And then if they had their own chains and they integrated their banks in those chains, they would not only have the chains, they would have the rails too, and could eliminate a lot of our favorite cryptos out there. Now, there's an ETF going on. That's right, an XRP Sol BTC ETH ETF going on out there, where the approval is 95%. The agency will reveal its verdict by July 2nd. Bloomberg's most recent odds, that's Wednesday for you players out there. A 95% chance of it being listed. That's right, XRP ETF. There's a catch, though. There's a catch, and you know that's my job, to bring you the news, good, bad, happy, or sad. Now, a lot of people on Twitter otherwise known as the smack monkey capital of the world, otherwise known as the doorknob humper capital of the world, otherwise known as the retarded capital of the world, for those of you that speak en français, you know, en retard, all right? The problem they say is it's going to be a massive XRP ETF. Well, there's a little bit of a problem. And remember my phrase, I bring you the news, good, bad, happy, or sad. The problem with this ETF is it only contains 4.63% XRP. See, this is a weighted ETF. The majority of the ETF contains 80% BTC, 11% ETH, 4.6% XRP, 2.5% SOL, and 0.75% ADA. Now, I think it's good, and here's why I think it's good. Because this would be an XRP ETF where we play the tip, right? We just put the tip in a little bit, and we say, oh, SEC, you approved an ETF with XRP in it. Oh, so if you approve this ETF with 4.6%, maybe you can approve that ETF over there that has 15%. And then maybe if you approve the one with 15%, we could slide an ETF in that's completely XRP. So yes, this is good news because most likely this is going to happen. The problem is, though, is again, this is another big BTC ETF. BTC representing 80% of the fund. ETH, 11%. So between BTC and ETH, that's 91% of the fund. Yeah, that kind of sucks, doesn't it? It does. But like I said, we're playing the tip game. Baby, are you going to let me do a little backdoor tonight? I'll just do the tip. I'll just do the tip. Well, 4.63% is the tip, right? That's the XRP in this. So don't be fooled when you go on Twitter and you see the degens out there telling you, oh, this is bullish. Oh, melting faces, grown men will cry, and some other fucking retarded shit that you're going to hear. Because they're not going to tell you that it's only 4.63% XRP. By the way, 95% that they're going to approve it, that comes pretty good. The acknowledgement comes amid increasing activity in the crypto ETF space, with the SEC currently evaluating multiple spot crypto applications from financial institutions. According to the ETF store president Nate Geraci, the amendment reflects the SEC's ongoing engagement with Grayscale regarding its proposal. No. Essentially what it is you just delay, and eventually you have to frickin' approve it, and that's where we're at right now. Now, overall in the crypto market, what are we seeing? Some things move. You could see SOL moving, a little bit of BNB movement right now. Altcoin season 21 out of 100, so kind of sucks. We get it. Volume right now up 46%. Why is it up so much? Because Sunday sucked. Sunday's volume was super low. We're at $102 billion right now. Inflows, yes, we got them. HBAR, how do you feel? Do you feel comfortable about a 15-cent floor? Let's zoom out. Here's why. HBAR has had some struggles maintaining the highs. But let's do this. Let's throw to the candlesticks and let's go to the one-day candlestick so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. But if you look at this 15-cent mark, right? We had a little 15-cent scare right here in April, and we had another one right here. But we bounced back. We're at 15.2 right now. So the question a lot of HBAR fans out there have to ask yourselves is this. Do you feel comfortable with an established 15-cent floor? We've only been able to touch it now a couple times. Speaking of touching it, if my wife doesn't respond back to my Snapchat, I may have to do that later. You should touch the subscribe button. That's just how things work. But do you feel comfortable with HBAR touching 15 and bouncing back on up? We talk about that with XRP plenty of times. By the way, look at XRP ripping a roaring. 229 right now. It's happening. Don't worry, we're going to get to XRP next. But with HBAR, do you feel confident in that? Or do you think the floor is a bit lower? The reason I bring up the 15-cent mark because you saw it here play out in April, and you're seeing it play out in June. The June move is still very early, though, right now. Now, this XRP move, like I said, this just happened literally before I wrote the script for this video. So I'm sure there's something causing it. I just haven't seen yet what's happened because, like, I literally just wrote the script. So I'm sure there's going to be some freaking knob gobblers in the comments going, but bro, the reason this happened is, well, I just wrote the freaking script, so I can't tell you what happens in the future. But right now, XRP is at 229. The candlesticks, holy shit, in the last hour have gone from 220 to 229. Still lowercase p. Still lowercase p on the pumperoni, but the volume is starting to be juicy. Volume right now for XRP, 2.72 billion. up 115%. Let's go back to those candlesticks. See, XRP holders, we talk about the floor, right? XRP holders feel very confident about the $2 floor. We've had multiple times where we've breached the 2, but then we pop right back up. So we've had a very strong repeated history of breaching and bouncing, and that's what makes XRP confident. So again, when we talk about HBAR, how do you feel about the 15-cent floor? That's what I'm saying, right? That's what you have to start asking yourselves with what's going on, HBAR fans. Let's get back into XRP. 15-minute candlestick, that looks juicy. Now let's see what happens, all right? We're at that 230 mark right now, and like I said, this move is just happening. Is it going to be able to hold that 230? And you know what I'm going to do. As soon as I'm done with this video, I'm going to be watching the charts because I'm going to see if we can blow through this resistance at the 230 mark. I'm looking at this 115-minute candlestick right here that got to a high of what? 229.98. So where were all those sell orders at? Right at the 230 mark, everyone. Now, if this second candlestick right here repeats the same thing and then pushes on down, well, then that's exactly the story we need to know. But it's just happening right now, and you'll be able to tell me what happens because, like I said, I don't have a crystal ball to look into the future. I'm a news guy. So let's see what happens with these candlesticks because the move is happening right now. We got an ETF with the likely 95% approval. Too bad there's only 4% of the ETF that's XRP, while Bitcoin and Ether 91%. But remember, we're playing just the tip, and that's how the fun starts. Because you never play just the tip. It usually ends up being just the whole thing. So XRP is a pump, and that's lowercase p, ladies and gents. And I've got the chart up on the screen while I do the outro. Right now, the price is, not breaching that $2.30 mark, and I think that's going to have to be the resistance that we're looking at. But the ETF thing is interesting because I literally was just looking at the old Twitterverse, and what did I see? A bunch of players out there talking about the big XRP ETF, but none of them mentioned how little of a percentage XRP was on there. Yeah, I know. It's the problem with people pushing the hopium. They don't give you the deets. They just give you the big broad picture, and it paints a misleading picture. And that's why I'm here, to bring you the news, good, bad, happy, or sad. And right now, what are we seeing? We're seeing that XRP ETF most likely is going to happen. Too bad it's really a BTC dominant ETF with a little bit of ETH and a small smidge of XRP. Now, that being said, the XRP lowercase pumperoni is alive and well, taking it from 220 to 229, but the move is early. The Robinhood move is early as well because we're seeing Robinhood use a little bit of arbitrage action, but saying, we're only going to use you for a little bit until we have our own chain being built. Coinbase has built Base, and we've seen how popular that is. There's a lot of stables launching there. There's a lot of volume launching there, and players really seem to like it. It's filled with scams and schemes, so who knows with that. But that's scary. Because what if the banks all of a sudden start building their own blockchains? And then, not only would they have their own blockchains, they'd have their own stable coins, and they would have their own rails. So that would be super scary, because then that would pretty much wipe out the need for 99.99% of the cryptos out there. Scary, isn't it? And that's the problem we got in this space, is there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of players out there looking to cut each other down. And the worst part about it is every time you and I wake up, every time we do another trip around the sun, there's millions and millions and millions more cryptos out there. And that's competition in the space. And we're not really seeing anyone kind of come out as a big leader, right? No one's really capturing the market, so to speak. So that's where we're at right now. Let's see what happens with this move. I got the chart up on the screen. It is battling hard. I've got the 1 minute up on, and it right now is 229.92. So 230 is definitely fighting right now. I want to see what happens, because I'm sure as soon as I upload this video, it's going to break one way or the other. So I'll see what happens, but you obviously know before I do, because you'll be watching this in the future after I have finished uploading this video, which is the current time now, but it's in the future of when I upload. And right now, it just did breach 230. It's at 230.003. Oh, no, it just went back under. Oh, my gosh. I'm going to have to watch this. All right, everyone. Choo-choo what? Choo-choo piz nachos.